Hi everyone!
Good morning. We are going to meet Irene Gut, a artist and artist here in BC.
Yes.
So let's go. Good morning, everyone. We are here today with artist Irene.
Hi, good morning.
How are you doing?
Oh, very good. Thank you. And thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for sitting down and talking to us today. We're super excited to get to know you and all about your art. So we'll start with you just telling us a bit about yourself.
Hey, my name is Irene, like you said, and I was born and raised in Switzerland, but I came to Canada almost 30 years ago. Cannot get rid of my accent, but I guess that's okay. And yeah, it was never my dream. Like, I never dreamt that I would live in Canada one day, but it just, life happens, and here I am. And I didn't speak English when we arrived. I had a toddler, 1.5 years old. I was 7 months pregnant. And I grew up in a little town with a lot of people, and I moved out here in the country. So it was a bit hard at the beginning, and I was a stay-at-home mom for many years, but we have a lot of property, room, space, so we had a lot of animals. I kept busy always, felt a bit lonely at the beginning. And going into art, I always liked art and painting and drawing, even when I was little. So I was always very excited when I got, let's say, colored pencils, new ones. I would open that box and I smell it, and it was just heaven. And I still remember that when I see crayons or pencils, it's just so nice. And then life got busy. I had family, and that moved a little bit in the background, my painting. But then when the kids were older, I picked it up again. And someday, must have been 2009 or 10, I came across encaustic. And the minute I had that card, I was hooked. Like, I didn't know what it was. I got a greeting card from my cousin in Switzerland, and I didn't know what it was. I asked her, and next time when I went back home, I said she has to show me and teach me, and she did. And I came back to Canada. I did my research. I Googled it. I ordered my supplies, and I just started making encaustic cards.
Wow.
Yeah. So this is a little bit how it started, and I never stopped. Yeah. And then it just took off from there. Yeah.
For folks who don't know, what is encaustic art?
Encaustic painting, it basically means painting with beeswax. So it's actually, I would say, the oldest art form there is. So encaustic painting existed before people would paint with oil or acrylics. Acrylics are fairly new because it's a plastic product, but beeswax, even the old Greeks and Egyptians, like 2,000-3,000 years ago, they used beeswax for paintings. And there is still paintings in museums around the world from back then, and they are all still intact. And so it's really archival, durable, if you treat it properly. Yeah.
Was it a hard style to learn?
Yeah, kinda. Yeah, because wax, it has its own life. It's really often I start a painting, I have something in mind, but I end up with something completely different. Over the years, I learned how to handle it, and now I'm better at it. I can predict, but still, it really has a life on its own. But what I like about the wax too, it's all organic. It's nothing, no chemicals in it, and I really like to work with that. and we have our own bees too. But there's
Wow.
not enough wax, so I still purchase my wax. So, yeah.
This might be a silly question, but is it like melted wax that you dip a paintbrush in and you paint that way, or?
It's two different approaches. Let's say when I paint my cards, then I use an iron. It looks like a traveling iron, and you heat it up, and I have wax blocks, and then I melt the wax on the iron, and with the help of the iron, I apply it to the paper.
Gotcha.
When I paint on wood, then I heat my wax in tins on a pancake griddle, so it's in a molten state, and then I use paintbrushes, and then I build up layer by layer on the wood. And if you build up layers, you have to have a rigid surface, because wax, you can imagine, it breaks. If it's like thick and you bend it, it just breaks. That's why you want to have a rigid surface when I paint on wood and with paintbrushes. If I apply it with my iron to the paper on the card, it's only one layer and it's very thin, and then it's bendable and it's totally fine.
Okay.
It was a bit confusing when I started, because I heard both. I heard like, well, you need a rigid surface, but then, well, but I have paper, so I had to figure out the meaning. But it's so versatile, and you can do so much with wax. It's endless. Yeah.
How long does the average painting take you?
Well, card making, it can be 10 minutes to 20 minutes or 30, depending on the size. Let's say if I do a postcard size, and because I've done it for so long, I can do it in 10 minutes. I can do a pretty good card, or 15 minutes. But if I paint on wood and I have, let's say, a 12 by 12 panel, that can take me several days, depending if I'm happy with it, or and because it's building up layers and layers, and I'm in general not a fast painter, so it's a hard question to answer properly.
Do you have a favorite painting that you've painted?
I have one, but I don't own it anymore, and I was thinking about that, because I had that question. I heard that before, or I read it, and I had to think about it, and I usually have a favorite, and I think I want to hang on to this, and then the next one is my favorite.
Aww.
But there was one, and I think I called it Sweet as Honey, and it was a honeybee on a flower.
Aww.
I painted, and I sold it. I know who has it. It's a friend of mine, and I still think it's one of my favorites.
So in your paintings, is there, like, what inspires them? How do you decide what it is you're going to paint?
I hardly ever use reference photos or anything. I think my approach is often I play, and I just start something. I don't think too hard what it's going to be. And then, but I do a lot of landscapes. And because I live out in the country, I like hiking, I like being outdoors. So I would say I'm very much influenced from that. But I don't paint representational necessarily. I always add a little, some other elements to it, or colors you don't see in nature. You know, my skies are purple, or on my cards or something, so colorful, and that's what drew me in with the beeswax too. It's very vibrant colors. It's just, it has that luminosity other like acrylics or oils don't have.
Do you have to dye the beeswax yourself, or do they sell like different colors?
You can purchase it, the finished product. When I make my cards, I use finished products, because it's just easier, and I sell them. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that.
Yes, you are. We'll have your website in it and everything too.
So I do sell these products online. Was not planned either, but I just happened to be so. And when I paint with my other paint or with other wax paints, some I purchase. There is 2 companies in the States, very good companies who sell good beeswax for that. But I always make my own wax medium. The wax medium is used. That's basically the basic. It's colorless, so I use beeswax and damar resin. Damar resin is a tree sap. It comes from the East Indies. It's all natural too, but that makes the beeswax harder and it raises the melting point, because beeswax itself would be too soft and it would melt too quickly. That's why we add the damar resin. So I have big crock pot and I cook up my own medium, and to that clear medium then I can add colored pigments or a little bit of oil paint, or depends, to make my own wax colors. And it's more not so expensive that way if I make my own medium. I can purchase finished medium, but I prefer to make my own. And it's always important with encaustic ventilation, and I have to monitor the heat, so it's not getting overheated, because it can have fumes that can be toxic. So you want to have ventilation and monitor always like I said, the temperature.
Mm-hmm. Is that just in the cooking process of that base, or is that even after the paintings are finished?
After the paintings are finished, no, you don't have to worry about that. You only worry about having your painting, let's say, in the back of a car in the summer. I mean, it's wax. Yeah. It could melt, right? Or out in a freezing temperature, it could break. Because if it gets frozen and, let's say, it can crack. Yeah. But with that said, it can take up to 60, 70 degrees Celsius and nothing happens. So if I hang my art in a room, like in a house, and it's not exposed to direct sunlight or right beside my fireplace where it's getting very hot, it's totally safe. If you handle it like you would any other art, like oil painting, other paintings, it's totally fine. Yeah.
What keeps you motivated in creating your art?
I think I always like to try new things and experiment with bigger paintings. I started small, but it's a really challenge for me. The feedback from the people is motivating as well, of course, and I'm curious what happens if I do this or I do that, because with the encaustic I can really do transfers, I can add papers, it's endless possibilities. And if I don't paint, I just miss it. It's almost like I'm on withdrawal. If I don't have enough
painting
time.
addict.
Yeah, I am, yeah.
That's a good kind of addict to be, though, I think, if anything.
Yeah.
Do you remember the first painting that you ever did?
Encaustic. Maybe I even kept it when we talk card making. Yes. On wood. I'm not sure now. Maybe I destroyed it because I didn't like it anymore. That I cannot remember now. And going on other art, I mean, what I drew when I was little. No, I don't know. I had lots of coloring books.
Aside from encaustic painting, are there other mediums of art that you really enjoy?
Yeah, I do like acrylic painting. I did workshops in acrylic and watercolors, even oil. So I tried everything a little bit, and I do enjoy that too. But it's just I always come back mostly to my encaustic. That's my main medium, and there's just not enough time on a day to do everything I would like to do. So I concentrate on encaustic, and if anything, yeah, it's acrylics. Yeah.
Have you ever tried mixing mediums?
Yeah. Oh, you mean mixing mediums? How do you mean?
Like acrylic and watercolor, or like encaustic and
with
other
encaustic,
things?
yeah, I do mix, like I said, it's endless. I call it often encaustic mixed media.
Okay.
Because I add ink. I can add
Cool.
like ink. I can add watercolor. Oil I can add as well on my paintings, but with oil you have to be very careful not to use too much, because it does never dry if you use too much oil on wax. But what doesn't work is definitely acrylics and wax don't marry, like in that sense, because acrylic is a plastic product and wax needs something to hold on to. So it needs to be a porous kind of surface when I start. Wood is excellent. But once I have my base, like I said, I can add ink, watercolor, chalk paint works well, and embed paper. I used rust. I put in some paintings. It's fabric.
Oh, cool.
Everything almost goes with wax. Yeah.
Do you have something? Is there one that's your favorite to mix with the encaustic?
I think ink is pretty cool, and depends, and oil, and I forgot to pan pastels. This is like pastel.
Yeah.
They're
like almost like crayons, right? Or
no, it's a powdery. It's almost when you use a compact powder for your makeup.
Gotcha.
But that's how the pan pastels look. And then there is a sponge. I even use makeup appliers, like
really?
sponges, and I apply these colors to the wax, and that's actually, I think, my favorite, besides the oil sticks. Yes.
What makes it your favorite?
Because it's very easy to blend colors with the pan pastels. So if I have a background, or I want some color in the sky, I can easily, with pan pastels, I can easily color that in. And then I put another clear layer of wax over top, so it is secured and it's really nice. So you can play around, and same thing with the oil sticks. Yeah, oil colors.
What advice would you have for someone who's aspiring in art or encaustic painting?
Definitely, like encaustic painting, I think it's important to know the basics well, because like I said, you need to know temperature monitor, you need to know what you're doing with the wax, because of health reasons too. There is some safety rules, and because with wax painting, I have to, if I build up my layers, I have to fuse every layer. So that means if I have one layer and then I take a heat gun or a torch and I need to reheat that in order to make it stick to what's beneath.
Oh.
Right? And so there I work with fire, so there you have to be careful. And so, but there is a lot of good artists out there, lots of workshops you can take now. When I started, there was nothing online basically. I had a hard time to find info for encaustic, but now there is out there a lot. So I would recommend, yes, go to someone who knows well, or a well-known artist, and start from there.
What has been the biggest challenge throughout your art career so far?
The challenge was for me, first of all, when I started to find the products. There were a lot of, most of them were available in the States, but not in Canada. So I had to do some research, and it was not that easy. And online was really not much I could find. So that was my biggest challenge, find like-minded people. When I started making cards up here, nobody knew what it was. And so that was maybe my advantage, because I then ordered videos, I ordered books, and I found people down in the Okanagan who did encaustic painting. I took workshops down there, and that's how I got more and more into it. And then I just kept doing my cards. I watched my videos and practiced, and then I went to a Christmas sale and sold my cards, and people were so interested and liked them so much that I really want to learn this. Can you teach me? And that's how I got into teaching. It was all not planned. It just happened.
A happy accident.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, they're beautiful, so I definitely see why folks are like, how do you do this? This is so cool.
Yeah.
Speaking of your teaching, what do your classes kind of look like?
And nobody needs to be an artist to do encaustic cards with the iron. It's I guide them step by step. I guide you through my class, and all the material is included, and we do 3 different approaches. I start just with playing and apply the wax to the card to get a feeling how it works, and do some abstract, and then we do a landscape, step by step landscape painting, a simple one, and then I show you different things you can do, like incorporate stamps to it, and other things, just little tricks, and we play and we just have a good time and no pressure. And so that's about how it goes.
That's so fun. Yeah. And all that information can be found on your website? Or
I have little cards and on my website it's more my products, not necessarily the write-up how I approach the teaching. Yeah.
But sorry, I mean, like your contact information would be on your website for individuals to contact you for?
Yeah.
Perfect. How long are your classes?
I would say it's about 1.5 hours to 2 hours. Yeah, depending a little bit of how many people. I like to have smaller groups, so I have more time we can spend individual, and maybe the maximum of 8 people. Yeah.
That's awesome, because then you get your money's worth, of like actually getting to learn.
Yeah, minimum of 3, maybe up to 8. And I do it out of my home, or then if people want me to go to their house, I have done that quite a bit. Let's say they have a ladies' night out or something, and I just do that, yes, and go there.
That would be such a fun activity with friends.
Yeah,
oh
I
my
had that quite several times. I said, or my kid has a birthday.
Oh, yeah.
But I always say, and they are great, like children or teenagers, because they don't think too hard. They are not afraid of doing. It's just, I would say, 10 years minimum, because it's an iron that's hot. You can burn yourself. Or if the mom would come with her child, then that's fine, because then she's there to supervise. But otherwise, rather 10 years up or 12. Yeah.
Do you enjoy teaching?
I do. Yeah. I never thought I would, because I definitely never wanted to be a teacher. But teaching my art is very fulfilling. Just to see when they are surprised what they accomplished, what they didn't think they could.
Oh, yeah. That would be so touching and like empowering for them and you, because you know, you help them get there and believe in themselves and
so
create that work.
Exactly. And then for a while I invited people, whoever took my class, I said, let's get together if you wanted to. With COVID, everything went a little bit sideways, exactly. But I still have some regulars. We come together and we just paint, and they bring their own supplies, and we have a good afternoon.
Aww.
Yeah.
Are you working on any projects at the moment?
Next year I have my own art show.
Wow, that's so exciting.
And, Fort St. John Gallery.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you. It's a year from now, basically, or even longer, but because I'm, like I said, I'm slow with painting, and I do a lot of other things on the side too. It suits me well, but yes, that's my focus right now, and get ready for my first solo art show. I had 2 other ones already, but never my own. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
what's that experience like, being in an art show?
It's actually, it was so nice, and to get the support from other artists. I belong to the Flying Colors artists group in town, and just to get together there and the support and people who come and look at your art and actually admire it and congratulate you, and it's a good feeling. I mean, who wouldn't like that, right? Mm-hmm. So it's very fulfilling. Yes, yeah. And then they feel, oh, you're such a good artist, or how do you do this? But I think a lot of people can do it, because you just have to like it, and you have to keep doing it. And we often are too hard on ourselves. We think, oh, I have to be able to produce a good painting when I sit down. But I always say, then don't be too hard on yourself, because a doctor is not a doctor when he studies for a week, right? Everyone needs practice and needs to study these things, and it's the same for art. So just keep going and practice, and even if I produce things that are not great, it's still a learning process. I learn something from it if I experiment. So that's, I think, what it is.
What does your process look like in creating your art pieces? I know you had mentioned it, like it's a lot of just playing initially.
Yes. Yeah, unless I really have something in mind. I recently just did a buffalo, a bison. I painted, and then I knew, that one I want, and I knew how to approach it. But sometimes I just want to paint, and like I said, I don't have something in mind. And often I think I want to do an abstract now, but I find it's really hard for me to do totally abstract. So I just start and put color on my canvas and play with wax and paper, and then sometimes I see things, figures or trees. I always see trees everywhere. I like trees. And then that's when I then get more into the design and finish my painting like that. Yeah.
How do you know when a piece is finished? Like, are you able
That's
to just...
a tough question too. But sometimes I just know, because when let's say I walk away, first of all, I think, okay, this is done. And then I walk away from my painting, and I don't go back until a day or 2 later. I don't look at it anymore. And if I come back later and I look at it, and I'm still happy the way it looks, and it makes me feel good, then I know, okay, this is done. And then I still probably hang it in my living room and I look at it for quite a while, and if I'm still happy after a week or two or longer, then I know it's done. Yeah.
You're like, okay, that's finished. I'll leave that one.
But often I hang it in somewhere where I can look at it, and then I see things that I can improve. But like I said, I know when it's done, when I'm happy for quite a while with it. Yeah.
Do you think your art is inspired at all by your past experiences in Switzerland, like growing up there?
Yeah, probably yes, because we had the mountains, I had hiking and outdoors. It's just in a more compact than it is here in British Columbia, where we have similar but just big.
Bigger.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So then would you say that BC has also inspired your art in the same way?
Big time. Even the Peace River Valley here, the hills from our region, you see it in my cards a lot, and people mention, oh, it looks like the Beaten Hills, or yeah, unconscious. I think I'm inspired by that. Yeah.
And then last question, it doesn't have to be specific to art, but what would you say is the best piece of advice you've received throughout your life?
I think I always was told or taught to be honest and generous, share your knowledge, and it will come back to you. Definitely, yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Okay, so now I'm gonna show you how I'm making an encaustic painting on a white card. In order to do that, so the wax stays on the surface, I have a non-absorbent paper. I could use watercolor paper too, but then the wax really soaks into it. It's very cool too, but it is easier to work on non-absorbent paper. So it's a special paper I use with encaustic. And then my iron, it's like a little travel iron. It has no holes in it, so no wax can get inside and cause a shortage or something. But it gets hot enough that I can get a blister. So I have to be a little bit careful. And the other thing about my special iron is it keeps the temperature steady. It's not like when I iron my clothes that the temperature, or it heats up and then it turns off, it cools down. So this is just keeping it steady, so it's easy to work with. And it's easier to work on a small format than to start big, because I only have a small surface to work with, so there's only so and so much wax I can apply, and postcard size like 4 by 6 inch is perfect for that. So I think I just do a simple landscape for you and show you step by step how I do this. Okay. And I always, with landscapes, I always start with the sky, so I work from top to the bottom, because it's hard to get back into the sky when I'm not happy the way it looks. So I make sure I'm happy with my sky before I keep going. Okay, so then I turn my iron upside down, and here are my wax blocks. They are finished products. They come, I think they are made in the Netherlands, and I buy them from a wholesaler here. So I do use this, and actually they are very safe to use. They are approved from Health Canada, so there's no danger in using that hot wax here, because we work with very little wax, so there's no worries about fumes. I taught a lot of people and I never came across a person who had an issue with it. Okay, so I'll start with my sky. I mix a few different colors here.
I did not know that you colored the wax onto the iron.
Me neither.
Yeah,
totally
so
didn't
it's hot
understand that,
and
so
see
my
the
bad.
wax. Yeah, wax is hard and then I melt it on the iron, so it really flows. And then I turn it and I set it on my card and go slow. I go drag it across. And if now I did run out of wax here, so I just do the same thing again. I reapply whatever I feel. If I want to have kind of a sunset and the yellow down here, I only need a little stripe of yellow along the edge. And then I do the same thing again. And I think that's my sky now. And it's hot but it dries very fast. So I can already, it has a shine when it's molten, and then I just do this and it's already dry. It's still warm, but I can touch it.
Wow.
So this, I say, is my sky, and then I start with my hills. Like beaten hills, like a lot of people would say. And then go from there. And some green. I always like to mix different colors in. Maybe even some I had in the sky. And I do.
My goodness.
And so I
Oh
have
my God.
some
So pretty.
hills. And then I can always go back into it, but it's not controlled like when I have a paintbrush. Because you really have just that iron, that surface, you cannot be as precise. So I can add more. So I could do a second pass here. A little more green.
So in order to create these landscapes, was it just trial and error, or was it something you learned in workshops?
I learned from a video from the gentleman who originally, it comes from the UK.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and that gentleman, he had videos out there and books, and that's what I ordered, and that's what I watched and followed him step by step. What I basically do now when I teach, I do, this is a quick approach, but then I really explain how to apply the wax on what side. I actually noticed I applied it on the wrong side, but it doesn't matter to me now, but it would be easier to come in from this side. Now I have to turn my card and do this. But see, I can go in, and now I have like almost these three, the far away, and I can go back in and change it. But like I said, you have to be aware every time you go back in, it will look different, like so. But it's, yeah.
So pretty.
Now I have my hills. I want maybe some foliage, like grass in the foreground. For that, I take my card, I hold it like this in my hand to give it support with my fingers, maybe bend it a little bit this way, and then I take my iron. I don't need extra wax, and I dab it like this, and it looks almost, it gives some texture like that. If I want color in it, so I quickly wipe, or I have my, and then I can add maybe some pink, a little bit the blue, and I add this to the foreground. yellow here. Yeah, so I have,
Oh my god.
That's beautiful.
and then I can do some grass. I go in and I use the edge of the iron. I just drag it up. Give it the impression of grass.
Oh my gosh.
Amazing.
So cool.
And I can put a bird in the sky. And if I don't know exactly what color I have, some are similar, but some is purple, or see, this is blue, so I just use it like a crayon on my paper, so I know. And then if I want to do details, I often do like trees in it. I can't do everything with the iron, but I also have a stylus, so this is heated up as well, and it has the drawing tip. It's split, so it draws up my wax. It's because it's hot, it will soak up the wax, and then I can basically write with it.
Oh wow.
So cool.
So I have to.
So it's like a little pencil.
It is. So I
Cool.
can. So all detail. It's easier to do details with this. So now often I paint my trees. I use this stylus, and then I make my tree.
Take a look, it already looks like a tree.
Yeah. You're so quick.
Yeah.
Well, I've done this, I guess, 1,000, 2,000, 10,000 times since I started. I don't know how many cards I made, but yes, because this one, it's for me. I think I could do it in my dream.
Aw.
Yeah, and I still enjoy it. Honestly, it's never gets boring.
Have you found there's a difference between like when you used to just do art for fun versus when you started putting it online for sale?
Yeah, there is definitely that pressure is on, and you're always self-critique, and am I good enough, and what do people think, and it takes a bit of courage to do it, for sure.
How do you find that courage to like believe that your art is amazing? Because it is, but
I think I had a lot of support from my husband. He was a big fan and did really encourage me to just go and try. And some of it was I met people, happened to come across people who did art, and then one thing led to the other. And I always admired these artists. Here is the artist group in town, and I said, oh, if I only could be one of them one day. And I never really thought I will be, but now I am. But again, there I came across the right person, and she said, just come along for a studio day, and we just paint, and we're a good group. And often, in hindsight, I think it's almost easier than what you imagine. People are nice, in general. And taking my workshops, when I started, yes, it took a bit of courage. I went all by myself. I drove to the Okanagan, and I met all new people. But I just thought, well, I moved to Canada. This took courage too. And then I tell myself, what can I lose? Honestly. you talk yourself into it. What can I lose? Just try it. It's not the end of the world if it doesn't work out.
Yeah.
But showing your paintings, yeah, it is a little nerve-wracking. Yeah. So that's how I would do. So I don't do maybe the whole card, just 1, 3.
I cannot get over how incredible that looks in such a short amount
And
of time.
just with an iron, right?
Yeah.
Like really. Yeah, it's. And now let's do a little bird in the sky. And this one. So I put a dot there and clean it, and then I flick it here, here, and I guess
That's so pretty.
that's my card. I could add, of course, more trees
Yeah.
or a fence or whatever. So that's my favorite thing to do, landscapes, and I think that's why I'm really fast by now.
Yeah.
And this one turned out, I have to say myself, turned out pretty good. It's not always the case. And it happens that I maybe have to toss out a card.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this one's it's amazing.
But
So
this
beautiful.
one works, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect,
Wow.
thank
Oh,
you.
yeah, you're welcome.
That is so pretty.
Oh, I forgot something, at the end. The card, if it's dull, it's not shiny. So wax needs to be polished up with the big paintings too, because it has a bloom on it, and if I go over it, it really brings out the shine. It's like a candle. Sometimes they get that milky look, and now it's very shiny. And the same thing.
Oh, goodness.
The same thing is when I have my other paintings on wood. It actually takes up to 1.5 years or 18 months to fully harden.
Oh my
When
goodness.
when they are new, it's quite soft and you can dig into it. But the older these paintings get, the harder they get,
Yeah.
and the less. And then in the beginning, they get that bloom. They cloud over. And then I just buff them up with a lint-free cloth. And the older they are, the longer they stay shiny.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's so cool.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay. I will guide you step by step through
good.
a simple landscape.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Thank you.
So this, like I said before, it's the encaustic iron. It has a dial here, and I set it for you. It should be on low. If it's too hot, the wax melts way too quickly.
Oh, okay.
And sometimes we have to adjust this a little bit. And then when we do the landscape, we will start with the sky.
Okay.
So, and what I do is, okay, first of all, we clean the iron. In your little box, you find clear wax. It looks like this. Yours is very tiny, but that's that. Clear wax is used for the cleaning, or in certain cases to dilute the wax. So I apply a little bit the clear wax, turn your iron upside down, then you can take a Kleenex, bunch it up, and you just clean that surface. And don't burn yourself. Clean the surface, see a lot comes off
Oh, wow.
with the clear, and then don't forget the sides. Because I tell my students at the end of a class that they don't need to clean the iron, because the new ones need to know how to do this,
Oh.
right? And there is a little at the end of the iron, it's like a ditch down here where wax will run down. What I do in this case, I fold my Kleenex like this, and then I slide it through here. It's a bit tricky. Or if it's easier, you can take the paper towel it's a bit stiffer, and just slide it in that little groove here in the ditch, and it will soak up the wax that's in there.
Oh, that's crazy. It gets
Yeah.
so much of it.
Yeah, and if we do a lot of cards, once every in a while or every so often, I have to do this. Otherwise, wax can drip onto your card.
Oh.
And you don't want that when you have a
that's so
nice
satisfying.
painting. Yeah. Good. And then we are ready to start. And like I said, I often use white in my sky, but then I add a little bit the other colors, be it purple. You're actually allowed to use my wax. I have more colors than you, but you have 16 different wax blocks there. But if there's a certain color you like, so.
Thank you.
So what I usually start with, I turn my iron upside down.
Did you take a picture of this?
And then
No, thank you.
be aware when I turn it back, when I apply the wax on my right side, so I turn it, it's down here. So when I do the sky, I apply my wax on my right side, like about, you don't have to cover the whole surface, it's about this. I show you a little bit of different colors and like a sunset here, maybe that. So I mix it, so that's good enough, and I let you do it. I keep this and you apply the wax.
Oh, I'm so nervous.
About
Me too.
like this.
Does it have? Should white be the base?
I find it's the easiest, yes. Yeah. It doesn't have to be. I mean, you can totally do just a dark blue sky or blue. I just like I like the contrast in the sky with the landscape, the hills. And when you then apply the wax to the card, you don't have to press hard.
Okay.
It's just a gliding, as if you would spread butter on your bread. And I like to hold on a little bit so it doesn't slide away. And then make sure you catch the upper right corner. So I turn my iron, it doesn't even drip if I turn it quickly. See, I can hold it, nothing happens. And then I make sure I catch the top corner. So I'm gonna be over the card with the iron. Set it down, and no rush, you can just slide it toward you. And if you run out of wax here, no worries, we'll reapply. So I let you do this and then do it again if necessary. Very nice. I think your iron is a little bit too hot. But sometimes it varies. So, and then I would reapply the same colors. Here didn't get a whole lot on. You got more.
Okay.
So I do
I
the
have
same.
to wipe off the iron?
Not
between?
necessarily,
No?
unless you don't want that much orange. Then you quickly wipe it. But if you like the orange, and if you're happy, you can leave it.
But I can continue to.
But you can do
Okay.
the same. I would maybe one more pass, go over it, and put enough wax on the iron. It looks better if there is enough wax on the card. The shine and just everything looks prettier. Okay. Oops. Sometimes one can get stuck, but I did get stuck. I got a pattern here.
Oh, that's so pretty.
Well, it makes maybe for a good variation. So I just leave it for now. That looks good. Okay, and then I quickly wipe the sides because I'm gonna apply new colors for the hills. So we did apply wax on the right side, and when I do the hills, I turn my card like this in front of me, horizontal, and then I apply wax on the opposite side, because when I put it down, I use the top edge of the iron will be the top edge of the hill. So be aware you don't go all the way up, or you have no sky anymore. So usually, depends how big your sky you want to have, 1/3, 2/3. It's usually the rule of third is that we don't have just half, which I actually have here. But because I go down, I have less on my left side. So it's maybe 1/3, and here it's half, then it's okay. I just don't want the whole card half, just for design, or it looks better if it's not.
Yeah.
Okay, so I do apply, I go wild, I do this violet.
Oh, that's so pretty.
Yeah, it's a nice, and then I like the blue maybe in it, and yellow. So this is basically enough to do my hill. So I applied it on that side, and then I put it down like this, and then I almost do a figure 8. I put it down, and I go across and over, and I can go back. So I already have.
Oh, I see.
And don't worry if this is not nice. What you want to be concentrating on is your top hill.
Okay.
And this, so again, well, put it like that, and apply your colors on your left side this time.
Okay.
Because I mixed a few, I like that it mixes on the hills. It blends these colors very nice. And you'll notice not all the wax colors behave the same way. I find the light green is very liquidy.
Okay.
And some browns are way more like honey,
Oh, like thicker.
Cool.
Yeah. So then that's why I like to mix it sometimes when it's very liquidy. I mix other colors in, that gives it makes it a little firmer. Yeah. Okay. Whenever you're ready, take the leap.
Not good at the
Not
taking the
scary.
leap part. Like going through to my head. Okay.
Okay, so turn it like this, and then see you can. No, it's good. It's good.
That looks really
And you
pretty. I
were
like
very
that.
fast.
Too
That's
fast.
fine. No, I like it. Sometimes if you're fast, it gives these cool patterns. So I show you then, and for you, okay. See what I. Okay, now you need more. And I had it more like vertical.
Yeah.
So you have it had like this, and I think you pushed.
Yeah.
So I go in from right and go to the left. But let's do it again. And maybe you want to hold on to the card. You noticed it slid away. So to prevent that. So, and then when I'm happy with my top corner, I don't go back in. I don't want to destroy what I like. So I go in further down, and then I cover what wasn't covered before.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if I would, I would go in here. I would leave this part. I really like it. I would probably just cover that part here. Yeah.
Okay.
Go low in and tie up. Yeah, perfect. See, and when you now you have to be careful. Yeah, drag it all the way out. Good.
Oh, I did
And
not.
then maybe just quickly clean it. Good. Now you can go in as many times as you want, sometimes I let the card cool a little bit, cool off in between, so the wax is adheres better.
Yeah, I went higher than I meant to.
Yeah,
That's
that's
amazing.
yeah, but I mean, that's exactly what happens. It's normal
Yeah.
when you start, right?
This is so hard though.
Yeah, it is. You made it look so easy.
Yeah.
Well, you do great. I mean, okay, I would do one more application down there, another pass, and maybe for you too. So so you have maybe 2 hills.
A little bit
and,
more
yeah,
peaks. Yeah.
just don't go as high up
Okay.
the next time. But I like your look. You have a sunset here.
Yeah, I kind
It's
of know
very
something.
nice.
That's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Didn't
Yeah.
mean for that to happen,
Right.
but
Yeah, see, it's unpredictable.
Yeah.
This I wouldn't worry about at all because we're gonna do dab in.
oh right,
And
right.
then that might be even covered if you don't like that, or you can go back in. Maybe clean your iron quickly and make the sides as well, so it doesn't do that. Yeah, perfect. I think on yours would look nice if you add a little yellow to the green as a variation.
Okay,
Both, you know, mix it, the green, and then take a little bit of yellow in it.
Oh yeah.
And even, what's that? Yeah, that green.
That
Mix
one?
these 3.
These 3. Okay.
What did you use? Oh no, this was perfect. I
That
didn't
one?
see you
Okay.
had it. Sorry, I didn't
that's
see that. Yeah, just
I'm gonna stop.
yeah. Oh, it's good. I like it.
Thank you.
That's what I like. Everyone's looks so different. You
Yeah.
know, we do the same, and then they all look so different.
Yeah. It's interesting how unique they become. Yeah.
And
There's not enough yellow.
no, put a lot on,
A
and
lot of
then
yellow?
try to do a pass just all the way from the right all the way out to the left.
Okay.
Yeah, don't be afraid to. Not too. Yeah, I would do. That's enough of the dark.
Yeah.
You want to maybe lighten
Lighten
it up a bit.
Okay.
Yeah, better. Just more yellow. More. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
And then I
And then
think,
like
and
this?
then like this. You go in and then just slide it across. Yeah. Oh, not
Getting
too high
stuck.
up. See,
Oh.
be careful. And hold it more like this. Let's do it again. We all get that. I'll do this. Okay. Try again. And make
so-
sure here, just down here,
Just like
and
here?
slide it across.
Oh, that
You
looks
know-
so good.
Okay. So we can do another one,
Yeah, like another peak
Yep.
kind of
but
thing.
try to slide from one side to the other.
Okay.
I mean, this is quite challenging to start with a landscape. I usually don't start with landscapes
Oh,
when
really?
I do my classes. We do abstracts just to get.
Used
So
to.
I challenged you to quite a bit.
That makes us feel a lot better
That's actually
knowing
pretty
that.
good.
Yeah, I like that.
like
I'm not
that.
mad that this part's
Yeah.
kind of later.
Yeah,
Kind of looks
that's
cool.
exactly
really
gives it more variety.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I do a little bit of the impression of grass, I don't need a whole lot of new wax. Depends how much you have a lot on there. So yours will lighten up because every time I go in, I lift wax off.
Oh,
right?
okay.
So if I have a lot on there and I want to lift it off, I go in and I lift it off. But now, if I want to reapply, then I add more again. And then you can have your card here and dab on like this. It's not easy to do without the iron marks of the edge. What happens often is that you get you get these marks.
Oh.
But that's practice. Don't worry if you get them.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I've done it so many times. I know how much pressure or not to put on to basically not get them.
Mm-hmm.
So what it is, I take my 4 fingers as a support and my thumb on the front. And then if you want, you can add another color to your iron or nothing. For you, I would recommend try to, and again, pay attention to how far high up you go. You don't want to cover everything, just the foreground. Yeah, perfect. Or if it's easier for you, leave your card on the pad and do it.
Should I take it up higher?
I think I like it. Yeah, it's quite nice. Yeah.
Oh, that's really good.
Yeah.
It's the one thing I'm good at.
So you do art otherwise yourself?
Me? Oh, no.
You?
No.
No?
I like
She does nails really, really well.
Yeah,
I
I
would
do my
consider
nails.
that.
Pretty nails.
But she'll draw on them.
Oh, really?
And that's why
Yeah.
I say I feel like that should count as art
Thanks.
because
Yes,
she's
for
really
sure.
good at
Thanks.
that.
See? Yeah. It's great, but I
gonna
think
add-
yours could use a little more or darker.
Darker? Should I do like different? Like, should I do a green
There
again?
is a maybe this blue
Like the
green
bluer one?
would show up nicely.
And so should I also do kind of like that pressing motion?
I would, yes.
Yeah?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So now this pattern here doesn't even look too bad. It looks almost like, sun rays.
Yeah.
I was thinking
It looks
sun,
so
or then
pretty.
I was thinking like the wind blowing,
Or
like
the
if you were
wind
to
blowing,
catch
just
the wind.
something. It's
Yeah.
so anything goes. Mm-hmm. Perfect.
Very hard.
Wow. Cool. And if you want to, you can add some grass with the
Oh, the tool.
edge,
With
or
the edge
not
of it.
just with the edge of the iron. Then I turn my card, and depending how you hold it, you will get white marks or very thin. So I basically almost just use the tip and drag my paint up on the card. Like that.
Yeah, I mean, why not try it, right?
Yeah.
We're here, might as well try.
I would go from the bottom up.
The bottom up.
Yeah, whatever works best for you. That's how. Sometimes I hold my iron like this, so it's.
Oh, you gotta get more
control of
yeah.
it, but this.
Oh, I understand now.
Yeah. So. Yeah, it looks easy, but it takes, of course, a little practice.
A lot of practice.
But look what you just did. I've never done anything like it, and it looks totally nice. Like both of you, look at these landscapes.
Thank you. Definitely not one of your art or your
Oh, yeah.
cards, but not terrible for our first time.
I'd say it's pretty good. Yeah.
Just different heights makes it look more natural.
Yeah. Often I drag one fairly high up, even out of over the horizon. You're happy? Good.
Yeah, I think
Oh.
so. I tried.
No,
That looks really good,
does.
Rochelle.
Thanks.
we can do the bird without the stylus. It's a bit tricky. I don't know.
Let's try it.
Why
I'll
not?
try. So what I do is I just take the tip of the iron into my black wax, and then just a little dot on my card. The bigger the dot, the fatter your bird will be. So I do this, and then after I have that dot, I clean it, and then I hold my iron basically. I let you do the dot and then let's do the next step.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just gonna take a picture of this before.
Oh,
I hang it up.
nice. Yeah, it's.
Is that too small?
Let's see. It's a bit tiny, yeah, if you can manage to get in at the same.
At the exact same spot.
Yeah. Yeah,
There we go.
that's good.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I got
Wow.
there.
Maybe you want a little more wax or hold it.
It's hard to get back on the same spot.
I know.
Mm-hmm. It's very hard to get back in the same
Yeah,
spot.
that's when
There we
usually
go.
the stylus comes in handy.
Yeah.
But it's very well doable with just the iron.
And it's probably great practice to
It
have.
is, yeah,
Yeah.
because in
How to do it with
in
the
my
iron.
classes we usually just use the irons.
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
And okay, so now I have that dot, and what I do is to have a more steady hand. I have my elbow on the table, and I hold my iron like this, and then I try basically to set down my iron, and then I flick it to one side.
Mm-hmm.
I turn my card, and I do the same thing to the other side.
Okay.
So
Make that look very easy.
perfect.
That wing's a little broken, but that's
Yeah,
okay.
mine is
That's fine.
It's a little fast.
Yeah.
Oh, that's perfect.
That's
Look
true.
at you guys. Oh, your birds are nice. That's
Thanks.
sweet. Bravo. Yeah, so that's a very basic one.
Goodness, it's so pretty.
And we can sign our card with
Aw, that's so cute.
the scribing tool. You need to find a place where there is enough wax, so it shows up.
Perfect.
And
So fun.
to finish it off, we take our little nylon stocking.
Mm-hmm.
I give
Oh,
you this,
thank you.
and then you just not too
Oh,
hard,
wow.
and then you really see how it gets shiny.
Yeah, that
Oh,
really
yeah,
makes a
that's
difference.
Crazy.
Oh,
Okay?
this is so fun.
And that's when it shows when you have enough wax. It's really nice and shiny.
Yeah.
Look at it's perfect.
Wow.
Look at your card.
Look at that.
That's so
So does
good.
And the
yours.
sunrise or
Yeah.
sunset.
Oh,
The
that's so
unintentional
fun.
sun, that's awesome. That's
Perfect.
so
Oh.
beautiful.
Good. Good
Okay,
job.
everyone hold them.
Good job.
Hold them. Great job, everybody.
Yeah.
So good.
Cool.
Awesome. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
You're welcome.
It was so fun.
She is so wonderful.
She is. She's so nice, so sweet, so knowledgeable. Taught us a lot, and honestly, we were making not mistakes, it did not look good. And she's like, if you add this, it'll look really nice, or add this, and she really made our pieces 10 times better.
Oh my
so
gosh,
thank
so
you.
much better. Especially because, like, I feel as though when you are knowledgeable in something, you can be like, oh, you did that wrong.
Yeah.
But instead of doing that, she was like, here's what we can do to make your beautiful piece even
Even
better.
better, yeah.
You know? And it's just very uplifting and supportive, and just watching her work is amazing. She's so precise.
Yeah, but also like not at all. Like it was very much like Bob Ross
Mhm.
the whole time I was watching her, because I felt like they're very much like, oh, it just happens. Like things happen, whatever. And I'm like, that's not how I roll. But it was really fun, really relaxing.
Yeah, so 10 out of 10 recommend looking at her artwork. And it's available online as well at Farmhouse on Main. She sells it.
Yes.
Well, not her directly, but they sell her cards there. As well, looking at her Instagram and taking a class with her if you can, because even if you can't art like me, I cannot art,
Yeah.
period. But I still had a lot of fun, and it was a really cool experience. So
Check it out.